Uh, it is live. Okay. Well, it's live, so the first 20 seconds I can just skip. We are back. Fantasy Football Podcast. What's it been? Maybe a month. Uh, with me is Zane and Cly. We're looking at the Guillotine draft. First 20 seconds. And I got to turn off the stream because I'm getting some echo. All right. How's it going, guys? How'd you guys like the Guillotine draft?
I had a great time.
Yeah, as always, super fun.
Zane got the 18th spot. Best spot.
I like the whole.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But in the third round reversal, the last spot isn't as bad.
Yeah.
Like somewhere in the
Also.
middle is generally considered like the least valuable, versus in a non-third round reversal, I'd have to double check, but I think the beginning is the most valuable, and it kind of just goes till the last spot. I believe the last, either 16, 17, or 18 would be like the least valuable with the non-third round reversal.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Just
If you're
on
using,
average. Yeah.
if you're using like win rates or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. It's off some website. Just looking at.
Yeah, it's a pretty fun draft. A lot of interesting draft picks. Some surprising results. At the 101, Fuzz got the 101. He won last year, and then he's gifted the 101. He's paying the commish off. No, I'm just kidding.
Hey.
But his team is it's not without flaws for sure. Did you want to go ahead and give your thoughts on it, Clay? The Fuzz draft?
Oh, sure, yeah. Yeah, I mean, taking Christian McCaffrey, I think is solid. I wouldn't say it's rock solid though, because he was dealing with an injury, and I think with Guillotine leagues, you're just really trying to make it to the next week, and he needs to really be all in on this player. And I think in his position, taking someone that's not injured is safer. Even though Christian McCaffrey will probably play week 1. But yeah, other than that, I think I like his first 5 picks. Although I do notice he only has a single tight end, which means we're not going to open up waivers until after the first week of games. So for some reason, if Evan Ingram is injured or sick or something, doesn't play, he's going to be down a tight end slot. He did take Jaden Daniels as his QB1, and Daniel should play week 1, but he is a rookie, and who knows what he's gonna do week 1. At least he does have a second QB there, and then he took some rookies later. But overall, I think he has a pretty solid team.
Yeah, I think he does have like some injury-prone players. Obviously, McCaffrey with the calf. Hopefully, he gets better. Even Mike Evans is getting pretty old now, and he's had like hamstring issues. So if that pops up again, like he's down Mike Evans. And James Conner is always getting hurt every year. So hopefully he lasts for him at least for a bit before he goes down. And then Jaden Daniels is a rookie, and he's fairly thin. Some bad hits, he might get knocked out. Who knows? So they got some boom bust players in there. I think that could go really good or really bad. Then receivers, he just got those 3 guys, and Pearsall, he's not really anything, and Mingo's nothing.
Yeah, Pearsall's been injured too.
Yeah, and he's not getting like any play time, so he's gonna hit the waivers. I'm guessing.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think, Zane? At least, but if he's got McCaffrey carrying his team, that should help. But he's gonna need it for sure, I think.
Yeah, I think from Pearsall down, they're all just dart throws. Like you're never gonna have much depth in an 18-man league. I think the first 4, I'm probably less concerned about McCaffrey being injured than most. But McCaffrey, Evans, Higgins, Connor, I like all of those players. They're all starters. Like, you're not relying on any rookies in that position. Evan Ingram is. I think the riskiest pick is obviously Daniels, but he's projected to have some rushing upside. And I think personally, like rookie quarterbacks, although there's risk with rookies in general, I think quarterbacks probably the safest because barring some situation where you have a really good veteran backup, they're never going to get pulled. So like your only real risk is injury. Whereas if you have like a rookie wide receiver and they're playing poorly, they can just get pulled or not targeted. But like the quarterback's still involved in every play. So I think rookie quarterbacks are a little safer than say like a rookie wide receiver or tight end or something. But
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
overall,
his
I like
rushing will provide a really nice floor as long as he stays healthy. Like,
No.
minimum like 15 fantasy points a game potentially. I don't know, but he did just lose Dotson, so he'll probably be hitting Scary Terry and maybe the Senator a lot, or maybe some dump offs to running backs, and maybe Eckler will get a lot of work. Who
Eckler.
knows? Yeah.
I think it's probably a boost for Eckler without John there.
Yep. The wizard knows. We'll get to him later on.
Yeah. All right.
Overall strength of Fuzz team. You guys think it's like weak, medium, strong, or we can do that at the end, or what do you guys think?
I just say like probably above average, but I mean we have to look at all the teams, but that's just kind of what I'm getting.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, I would agree. We'll come back. We'll probably come back at the end, but I think for now I'd consider it one of the stronger.
Sure. Did you want to start on Tim? Zane?
Yeah, I'll go.
Okay.
So I really like Breece Hall at the 102. I think I'm pretty high on Breece Hall this year, and I think getting a wide receiver, I think there's just so few elite running backs that getting Hall here is I like it a lot. Burrow in the second round. I feel like some maybe not everyone, but some people may have forgotten it was 6-point passing. But I think it's a solid pick, especially since he was kind of on the tail end of a run on the quarterbacks. So you probably felt like he needed to grab somebody before they were all gone, especially since he wouldn't be back on the clock for another 18 picks. I like Kincaid a lot. I'm pretty high on Kincaid. I think he has the potential to finish as the tight end one. Maybe not guaranteed, obviously, but I think there's like probably 5 or 6 tight ends that could finish as the tight end one, and he's one of them. Pickens, it's a Tim favorite. It's a household name, but I am not that high on him this year, mostly because of the quarterback play in Pittsburgh. Russell and Fields have both looked terrible in the preseason. Granted, it's just preseason, but it just doesn't feel great as having him combined with Curtis Samuel as your forced starters for wide receiver. But that being said, I do kind of like Curtis Samuel. I think he's a little undervalued. But
I think he's dealing with a toe injury, isn't he, right now? Have you read about that?
He is
dealing with an injury.
So it definitely doesn't feel good if he's your wide receiver too, and because then your wide receiver is free. If you have to sub him out week 1, Burton probably isn't a starter. Baker's not a starter. Boyd is probably your best bet. So
yeah.
And that goes back to like kind of why the reasoning behind taking Ferguson and Freiermuth when you could have been taking receiver depth. Like you could have grabbed Myers or even Judy or Gabe Davis. Gabe Davis is boring. It's a boring name, but it's somebody that's going to start. Whereas like some of the rookies, you're not guaranteed that starter. But it kind of depends on what you're playing for. Higher upside or higher floor. And I think in Guillotine, especially in the early weeks, you should be probably chasing the floor. So.
Yeah, I think he will be starting all 3 tight ends probably for the first couple of weeks at least. Those guys will be in there. And if Fergie's getting touchdowns, that'll be huge for him.
Yeah, similar reason for Freiermuth as for Pickens. I'm just not super high on that offense, but
yeah. So he has 2 Steelers players and 2 Bills players, so he's buying in on their offenses. The Steelers' offense, a little bit sus.
I like the Bills' offense a lot more.
Yeah, for sure.
than the Steelers.
Yeah.
I think that Tim makes a lot of moves, and I know there's no trading here, but I could see him if he makes it to week 2, which everyone has about a 95% chance to make it. If he makes it to week 2, I could see him dropping a couple tight ends, and maybe spending some fab early to try to beef up his wide receivers a little bit. Maybe snag a second QB.
Yeah, we'll see how greedy he gets, if he's trying to save beans or if he's going to try to strengthen his team faster.
Yeah, I think his biggest weakness though right now is just the wide receiver room. Just has Pickens in a questionable situation with the quarterback, like Zane said, and a currently injured Samuel. So
and RB2 Devin Singletary, it's not that great.
Well, yeah,
not that exciting.
He's pretty high on Singletary. I think if I recall, in the dynasty, you traded for Singletary.
Yeah, I mean, like he is their RB1, but like it's not looking like a great offense. I don't know.
Right, and I mean, yeah, looking at the RBs, he does only just have Brees, Singletary, and Allen.
Yeah.
I guess if Brees, couldn't play week 1, he could play Allen instead. But if Singletary couldn't play week 1, they're gonna have to run it with Brees and Allen.
Yeah, all the Jets carries.
Yeah. He'll probably be fine week 1, but I would say his team is below average.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Just because that wide receiver room and lack of depth for RBs and a single quarterback.
Yep. I'll start on the pinball wizard. You got Tyreek at the 103, debatably the best receiver in the league. So that's good for his wide receiver room. They took CJ Stroud over Joe Burrow. Maybe just buying on that Texans offense, so many weapons. I think I do like Burrow more. He's got Burrow's on his 4th or 5th year in the league. Super, becoming a veteran. Stroud is really good last year, but I think for fantasy, I don't know if he's going to be as good as Burrow. But they're both like very interchangeable, I feel like. Then he went for Kittle, who's very boom bust. He's either going to get you 3 points or 30 points. So really hoping the golden locks comes through. Then he went for a bunch of like old running backs, like Mostert. Don't know if he'll be as utilized as last year. I mean, they've got Achane 2nd year. And they brought in Jalen Wright. But he's going to have to hope that Mostert gets his carries, gets his touchdowns. Because if he gets if it's an Achane week and not a Mostert week, that could hurt him. And Javonte, he's been pretty questionable ever since his, was it ACL, MCL 2 years ago. But hopefully he has a comeback year. And then he went Eckler ahead of Brian Robinson. Maybe he thinks Eckler will get targets and stuff and get receptions for a floor. But overall, his RB room is a little bit sus. Just some very old guys. And Williams is pretty questionable. He's also on a bad offense. I don't know. Rookie Nixon and that Broncos team is still pretty shambles, I think. And the rest of his receivers are not that great. Dobbs, Judy, Mooney.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, maybe Mooney will be a sleeper, potentially on the Falcons. But if he's not, that's going to go south. I mean, overall, this team, I feel like it's mid, but if things go bad, it could be pretty weak. I don't know. What do you guys think?
Yeah. Yeah, I was thinking average just looking at it, but the George Kittle I'm not a big fan of in Guillotine just because, like you said, Berg, the boom or bust. I think in Guillotine you want that floor. And
yeah, he could have got a better floor with Kincaid. He's probably going to get more targets every week. Yeah.
I would say Kincaid's floor is probably twice as high or higher than Kittle's. Kittle's floor might be like 3 to 5 points, and Kincaid's is probably, I don't know, 8, maybe even 10 points. Because he's gonna get fed. Josh has Shakir, Kincaid, and an injured Samuel currently, and than the
Keon Coleman, the rookie.
rookie Keon Coleman. Yeah. Doesn't have a lot. So yeah, I would definitely take Kincaid over Kittle, but I would take Stroud over Burrow though.
Okay.
Ever since the Burrow injury from last year, I believe it was a hand injury.
Mm.
I don't know. I think it might still be lingering a bit, but I could be dead wrong on that. I'm very injury adverse.
Okay. Yeah,
So,
that would be pretty bad if the injury was still there.
yeah.
Stroud's looking really healthy. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I think he should be fine week 1. Keegan,
Yeah.
but yeah, I'd say he's got like an average team at the moment.
Did you have any
I feel
takeaways?
like that's fair.
Okay. Yeah.
I like Tyreek a lot.
Mhm.
Stroud, a similar boat as everyone as far as like Kittle. The running backs, I think are fine. Like you're waiting until round 4 in an 18 man to grab one, so you're probably not gonna get anyone great. Mostert's fine. Javante, like at least they're starters, right? Like
Yeah.
this team isn't the team you're gonna have at the end of the year. You're just trying to limp by. So for that, Dobbs, I think he's not one of the better Packers receivers, but for whatever reason, he gets a lot of targets. So when you're chasing high floor, I think that will be all right. So I'd say yeah, probably just average.
And Taylor's team. Clive, if you wanted to start.
Oh, sure, yeah. I don't like the Lamb pick. I like Lamb a lot, but with his contract, him holding out currently, I think it's really risky. Now I feel like you got Lamb towards like if say Zane picked up Lamb at the 118, I would say that's fine because you could just you have back-to-back picks. It's a lot later, but with Taylor, he's really like investing a lot into Lamb here, and if he misses week 1, it could really give him a high chance of getting axed. So I would not take Lamb at the 1-4, but if he does play, he's probably going to be great. Kelsey, this isn't tight end premium, so I don't know. I think it's fine, but I think running backs going pretty quicker. Who could he have taken here? I guess it would be Kenneth Walker. Oh wait, no, sorry, looking at the wrong order. James Cook. I guess Kels is fine, but without the tight end premium, I'd probably fade him till round 3. For Diggs, I'm not a big fan of Diggs. He really fell off the second half of last year. Maybe it was an undisclosed injury, or maybe he just lost a step. It's a new team. He's wide receiver 2 on the team or wide receiver 3. I think currently he's probably 2 over Tank Dell, but Stroud really likes Dell, and maybe Diggs is the 3. So 3rd round to take a potential wide receiver 3, I think is pretty.
Yeah, T. Higgins was right there too. It's like a safer pick.
Yeah, T's a lot safer, I think. T's guaranteed 2 behind.
Like Fuzzy might have had a hard time if Higgins was gone right there. But, yeah.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So then you got Kamara. I like Kamara. He was dealing with some back tightness, I believe. But I think as long as he plays, he's gonna have a high floor. But I would probably go for someone like Montgomery over him because I'm injury adverse. Lad, rookie. I would avoid taking a rookie this early probably unless it was someone like Neighbors or the like that fell pretty far. I think the biggest one of the biggest red flags in the draft is the Brooks pick here though. Because he's on the pup list and he's probably not going to play for like a couple months, and when he does play, he's probably not going to be at 100%. Maybe, I mean, hopefully he is, but um, I think Brooks is RB2, who's on the pup list, means
Yeah.
that Charbonnet is his RB2, and Charbonnet is the second running back on the Hawks, so I think it puts him in some danger for sure. And with Herbert and Rodgers, Herbert with uh, a pretty questionable wide receiver room at the moment. Rodgers, who knows what version of Rodgers we get, you know. For me, it's kind of close between those. Like, who do I start week one? Might even lean Rodgers, and yeah, the rest of his team is fine. But I would say that he's got a below average team and could be scary depending on if Lamb holds out.
Yeah, I just say it's a high risk team because like a lot of these players have flags, like Lamb with the holdout, um, and then like Brooks will miss like the first month at least. Um, Downs has a high ankle sprain, so he's probably not going to play for the first week or two, is what I've read. There's a lot of like flags there, and then you're relying on, you don't really have anyone else, so you're playing, Lad, like you hoping. I'm probably higher on Herbert than some. I think the offensive woes are kind of, in my opinion, overblown a little bit. I think he'll be fine, but yeah, it doesn't feel good firing up Charbonnet as your RB2. So.
Yeah.
And then right now, like I said, he has Downs in his starting lineup, and from what I've read, it sounds like he's not playing week 1 or 2. So unless things turn around quite a bit, he's gonna have to put in somebody else, and then it's like, who are you putting in? Clyde, Devontae Walker, Marvin Mims, like none of those feel very good.
Yeah.
Yeah, like at the Jordan Brooks pick, he could have had like Deontay Johnson and Brian Robinson. That would have been nice. And the McConkey pick, taking a rookie that early, I don't know. Could have had Jaden Daniels right there. I feel like, I don't know. Instead of McConkey, what do you think about that? Just having like Jaden Daniels, his rushing and stuff, get that quarterback. But don't want to hate on McConkey. Just big unknown.
Yeah. Like Zane said earlier, I'd rather trust the rookie quarterback over rookie receiver because, maybe McConkey doesn't get any targets or something week one because, I don't know, because he just doesn't get the targets.
Mm-hmm. If we're going to Taylor, move on to the Bobcat team.
Sure.
Zane, if you want to
Yeah.
go.
Yeah, of course. I like the Bijan pick a lot. Again, it's similar to Brees Hall. I just like getting that elite anchor running back. At least right now, there's not really any major question marks. If you get deep in the weeds, there's people saying that there will be a Tyler Algier time split kind of thing, but I wouldn't worry about that too much. The Debo Samuel one, I don't know. I'm not as high on Debo as some people. Like I think I much rather would have had Mike Evans or even some of the guys that went in the next round, like DK or Waddle. But maybe that's just my own biases. He's oft injured, which, yeah, it's ever since his one historic season, it seems like he had a good season last year, but he did miss a couple weeks. So I don't know. I just would have rather had some of those more consistent players. I like McBride and Murray a lot. I think if I remember correctly, he grabbed Murray quite a bit early from like a ADP perspective, but I really like Murray a lot this year. 2 years removed from his injury, I think he'll have a pretty good year. So I actually don't even hate that he reached a little bit on him. And then McBride, I think he has a potential to have a really good year. And then as you get down there, the one downside to going tight end, wide receiver, or tight end quarterback a little early is, your running back 2 and wide receiver 3 or wide receiver 2 aren't as robust. So Zach Moss and Deontay, similar boat to me. I drafted Chase Brown, but there's a world where Zach Moss or Chase Brown is the starter and the other one doesn't get much. It's kind of sounding like it'll be 50-50 right now, but we don't really know. And then Deontay Johnson, you're just hoping for volume because that offense isn't really supposed to be very good. So, but overall, I would consider it an average team probably. I really like Bijan, McBride, and Murray, but outside of that, I'm not super excited.
Yeah, I think for me, I think I would put it maybe above average. Maybe that's just for me though, just because like the Kyler is so strong, McBride's so good, Bijan, he's got like 3 elite players, and of course Debo could have a really strong year as well. Some really good players on there, I think.
Yeah,
I think Deontay will get the targets. Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, it's fine. Yeah, I like his core, like you guys saying the first 4. I like Debo in the Guillotine, even if he is in like more injury prone. He as he is right now, I believe he's healthy, so I just look at it 1 week at a time. It's fine to plan for, week 18 or week 17, the finals, but you just gotta really be focusing on that next week. And if he's healthy, yeah, I think his top 4 is solid. But yeah, his wide receiver 2 is gonna be Deontay. Hopkins is out, right? Or
He might be back week 1, but that's questionable.
okay,
Yeah,
yeah, he's
hard to say.
questionable at least. So it's either Deontay or Myers.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's a weaker side on the wide receiver 2. And then yeah, the Zach Moss, it could be a split there in Cincinnati. So yeah, I like the core. I think it gets average, maybe slightly above average. I like the Drake May pick late. I think Drake May has maybe not this year, but it does seem like he's coming along a little faster than expected. So I think he has a decent rushing floor. Not like Jaden Daniels, but I think it's fine to gamble on some rookies later.
Yeah, I mean he did take Drake May over Daniel Jones, which seems kind of odd. I don't know. I think I'd rather have Daniel Jones, who does rush, and he has more of a veteran. I don't know.
That's true.
Plus, maybe Brissett might be the starter. I don't know, but
yeah,
I think May is just his
just
handcuff in case Murray gets hurt, but he's probably not going to be kind of league winner or anything this year.
Yeah, but I guess when you put it that way, I'd probably rather have Jones too.
But it might not end up mattering either way. He's got Kyler, so
yeah.
With a week 11 bye, so by
really
then
like
he'll have a
Kyler.
different quarterback than week 11. Yeah.
Yep.
I guess any more thoughts on the Bobcat team, Zane? Or I'll go on to Brooke.
Nope, I'm good.
Yeah, I like Brooks' first pick. He's got Amon-Ra. That's probably who Taylor should have taken, just because Amon-Ra's locked and loaded, no contract disputes or anything, and he's going to get the volume he always gets. He has such a good floor. So it's nice. He's got Amon-Ra leading his wide receiver room. Wide receiver 2 is Xavier Worthy, a rookie on a bad offense. The Panthers with a bad quarterback, Bryce Young. At least he was bad last year. Unless he's able to make some crazy turnaround.
Though.
Oh, yeah, the wrong.
Oh, sorry. I read legit. Okay, so he's got the stack thing. He's got Xavier Worthy and Patrick Mahomes.
Yep.
I feel like Worthy kind of profiles more of as like a deep threat. So he's probably going to try to hope he gets better volume than just a deep threat guy, because those come and go. I think especially for a rookie. So it's definitely a wild card pick. But at least he's got Amon-Ra holding down the wide receiver room for the first several weeks. But then the running backs, he's only got Monty, who's the RB2 in the Lions, and then Blake Corum, Ty Chandler, a bunch of nobodies else. So he's going to be relying on Monty to get like some work. And with Gibbs' second year, I mean, I don't know. Gibbs is looking like a really good player. He's going to get most of the work, I think. But maybe Monty gets some goal line work. He's going to have to hope that he does. But it's nice he's got Mahomes, 6-point passing touchdown. Best quarterback in the league. Kelp went Lamar. Brooks went Mahomes. So having Mahomes is probably a really nice feeling. And then having Mark Andrews. He's like the number one receiver on the Ravens. So there are just there. I think his first 3 picks are just like really good. After that, I think it's pretty bad. I don't know after those first 3 picks. But I guess I'd say it's maybe average. Average team overall. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I like Amon Ra a lot. He's my favorite player, but I don't like his bye week though. His bye week is week 5,
Okay.
and that also I don't like that he has Monty and Amon Ra because they're both on the same team, and they both have that week 5 bye week. So he's gonna have to, those are his top 4. He's gonna have 2 of them out that week, and then Mahomes is out week 6, and Worthy, of course. But I like his core aside from like Monty and Amon Ra being on the same team and having the bye week. Andrews is questionable though. Don't like that. I would rather have McBride or Kincaid probably because they're healthy. Um, and yeah, I feel like Worthy is more of a boom bust guy. Like I haven't seen him play in the NFL, but I would rather have him in a best ball league than a guillotine. Or I would just rather take him later. But yeah, and then for his RBs, like you're saying, Berg, I feel like he's just got a bunch of RB2s like Monty, Corum, Chandler, Bigsby. Um, Foreman's also RB2.
Yeah, it's a
I
pretty
guess
shaky RB room.
is Miles Sanders is he the RB1 currently on Carolina? I don't even know.
I feel like it's Chuba, but I guess we'll find out.
Okay, he's probably RB2 as well. He's just a bunch of RB2s. Although Monty, I do think it'll be like a 60-40 or 55-45 split for Monty and Gibbs. Like big more for Gibbs, but I think Monty's still gonna get a lot of work.
Yeah, sure.
But yeah, I would say his team is average. I think his core is pretty solid, but the rest of it leaves some more to be desired. He also only has the one tight end, which is Andrews, and he is questionable, so it's a bit dicey for week 1.
Yeah, I think outside of Bijan and Brees, everyone in the first 5 or 6 picks just has their own set of downside. And like you mentioned, I think the bye week, week 5 is one of those. That's right around the time that if you're playing a little bit passive, you'd probably start to spend some money. So maybe you just need to spend a little bit more money a little earlier.
Right.
Missing like your 106, that's a big hit to your team for the week, obviously. Mahomes in 6-point passing, it's a great option. I think Andrews, from what I've read, I think he'll be all right, but I probably would have taken Kincaid or McBride just because they're not injured at all right now. I think Montgomery's fine. I think that it'll be like you said, 50-50, 60-40. I'm not too concerned. Worthy is, the rookie as your wide receiver too is always a risk. I like Worthy a lot, but I don't know if I'd want him in Guillotine week 1. JSN, not quite as risky, but still a little bit, just depending on how fast he gets going with Tyler Lockett. I think Tyler Lockett will slow down this year, but it's more a matter of like, is that week 1 or is that week 8 or 9? So,
That's a good point.
Corum, there's a world where he doesn't even get a touch week 1. There's a world where he gets 40%. You just don't know. It's just a risk. You could argue the same situation with Chandler and Aaron Jones. And I like Polk a lot. I think as rookies go, I think he's somewhat safe, knock on wood, just because that room is so open and he's already playing with the starters. Like, I think for like a flex player, I actually kind of like Polk. And then after that, I think it's kind of a moot point. Those players, as with everyone, once you get in the 10th, 11th round in this 18 man, it's not that important. I think bench and depth pieces aren't, it's nice if you hit one, it's nice to have, but there's so many players being dropped as the weeks go on that I'm not too concerned about having like a backup tight end or backup quarterback. As long as you're, that being said, like you obviously want whoever you have not to be hurt. So, but I think overall I'd say it's probably an average team, maybe slightly below, but probably closer to average.
Yeah, there's just no supporting cast. You better hope his stars deliver.
Yep.
Now we're on to that Kelp team. You want to go ahead, Clay?
Sure. Yeah. So as I posted in the Guillotine chat, there is that thing that said Chase might hold out week 1, and I mean it's just like who knows, but again, Chase kind of like Lamb, he's in a holdout contract wise, and I would just avoid that in Guillotine. So I would have taken Justin Jefferson over Chase here, or AJ Brown, or Garrett Wilson, if you're going wide receiver. But if Chase plays, I'm sure he'll be good. He is a little more boom bust though than Justin Jefferson has been, so I'd still probably go JJ because I mean it is a different situation. JJ, that's on the next team anyway. Lamar, really like Lamar. He's even better if it was a 4-point passing, but it is a 6-point, so he's closer to Mahomes, but he has that rushing, so his floor is going to be a bit higher in general. So I like Lamar a lot. Devonta Smith, wide receiver 2 on the Eagles, but I think he's a little boom or bust as well. If I recall, last year he had a lot of single-digit weeks, and I don't know. I would probably try to get wide receiver 1 here if you could. Maybe you can't really. Guess you could get Pickens, but I don't know. It's a fine pick. Aaron Jones on Minnesota. Minnesota with their whole situation with Sam Darnold is, yeah. I would probably not feel super great with Aaron Jones as my running back 1, but he is a starter, and when he's healthy, at least on Green Bay, he could ball out. So I don't know, just the situation on the Vikings. Who knows what the offense is going to look like? Keenan Allen, not a big fan. That Bears room's pretty crowded. I don't know if Allen's the 1, the 2, the 3, or if they're all the same. Probably him. I would say he's probably not the 1. I'd probably have DJ Moore as the 1, just because he's been balling out on the Bears, and when you're traded to a team, rare that the player just becomes the 1. So he's either the 2 or the 3, probably either or, but he is the 3rd wide receiver on the team. So
Yeah, I feel like his ceiling is pretty low. It's like rookie quarterback, and you've got DJ Moore in Rome. It's like, how is Keenan ever going to hit like 20 points? I don't know. Let's get like a touchdown.
Right. I mean,
that's going to be pretty rare, I feel like, for him to get that much. But
yeah, in Guillotine, though, you're not necessarily chasing that high ceiling. You're more looking for that floor.
Yeah, hopefully he should have that floor. He's always open,
right.
So hopefully he gets those targets.
Yeah, I think, I don't know how much the Bears run, like, say, 2 wide receiver sets, but if Allen is involved in all the 2 wide receiver sets, he should be fine. But if he's like the wide receiver 3, where it's like Rome and DJ Moore out there, then that should hurt Allen's floor. So I just don't really know.
Yeah, I guess the more I think about it, the more I like it, because he should be good to like start the year, and if he survives, we can replace him with the waiver. So I guess I like it the more I look at it.
Yeah, if he starts out strong, I think preseason he was looking a little slow, but
okay.
I don't know. Bowers as his tight end 1 here. I like Bowers a lot, but he's a rookie going into a questionable offense. I would probably, I'd probably wait on tight end here. Try to get somebody, either a rookie later or somebody more established here. Although, yeah, there's Njoku and Goddard that were taken later. Probably have them over Bowers just for the guillotine. Yeah, Addison. I would not take Addison. Big question mark. Also, he's questionable. Nick Chubb. I think it's pretty early for Chubb. I think he's going to be out for like Jonathan Brooks time or longer, and when he comes back, he's probably going to be a shell of his former self. I mean, I hope he makes a full recovery, but his injury is so bad, so I would avoid him unless it was like maybe the 12th or 13th, 14th round. And then the rest of them, I do like Kelp getting the Daniel Jones, and just in case something happens with Lamar, you could slot him right in week 1. Yeah. My thoughts on it.
Yeah, I definitely agree. The Bowers pick it's a question mark. I have to hope he's really involved from week 1. And hopefully, Minshew's the quarterback. Hopefully, he's targeting him. So he's a lot of hope picking him because it's a big question mark. Yeah, and his RB2 week 1 is what, Gibson? I mean, I can't feel good. Maybe Pierce, but.
Oh, yeah.
But maybe he just, he has to have to start 2 running backs. So those 2 running backs needs to start, 4 receivers?
Yeah, because it's 2 running back, 2 wide receiver, 2 flex.
So he'll have Addy out there.
Yep.
Yeah. But overall, I think it's average. Obviously, it's really nice having Chase and Lamar. And I think I do like having Chase over JJ just because he's on such a better offense. I don't know. I think he's so explosive. Just having Jamar on your team is a really good feeling. The JJ's awesome, but just a worse team, worse quarterback. I don't know, it's just my opinion.
Yeah. I mean, Chase could, if he doesn't hold out and he plays the whole season, he could definitely beat Jefferson in points this year because he's in the same situation with Joe Burrow, and Jefferson has got Darnold, so.
And he's got that week 12 bye, so he's locked and loaded for a while if he's healthy.
Yeah.
How'd you like the Kelp draft scene?
I think overall I like it. Like Nikki said, Chase is, if he doesn't get a deal done, it's a little risky, but I think most likely he will. In Guillotine, obviously, worst case scenario is he misses the first couple weeks, but which that would be a dagger. But at some point you got to take a risk because I guess you could technically reach down there and draft like AJ Brown or Jonathan Taylor, but I think that's definitely like going to another tier. So I think in that situation, I'd probably still stay in like the higher tier. Lamar Jackson, great player. In 6-point passing, I might take Mahomes over him, but it's not really worth sweating. I like Devontae Smith a lot this year. I think it's really my only slight concern or complaint, and this is, every team in this league, especially as a whole, because it's just so many players. But like Nick Chubb is your RB2, does not feel good.
Yeah.
I don't think he plays for like the first month. So like you're probably playing Gibson or Pierce. So, but other than that, I don't mind starting 4 wide receivers. I actually kind of like Bowers over some of the other later tight ends, but definitely a little bit more risk. But I think overall, I'd probably say it's an above average team. Just be on the waivers getting to RB2.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, I mean, every team has a hole, so.
Yeah, I would probably put him at average if Chase plays, and obviously if Chase doesn't play, way below average.
Yeah, I definitely think maybe above average now that I think about it, for sure. He has just a really nice floor outside of that RB2. All of his other players have a good floor. So I just his odds of going out like week 1 is extremely low. It looks like.
I think the Bowers floor is a question mark. He's currently questionable.
Mm.
And if he doesn't play week 1, he's got who's that tight end that's not on the team? Dominic Wood Anderson. So yeah, he has a blank tight end spot if Bowers doesn't play. So yeah, I would put it at average.
Sure. The Hubs team, Zane. Did you love this draft?
I like Jefferson a lot in the first. Um, the Laporta pick, you're playing for upside. I probably wouldn't take Laporta here just because it's not tight end premium or anything. But that's just me. I like Laporta a lot. I just don't think he's far and away above Kelsey, Andrews, McBride, and Kittle or Kincaid. And so I just think you're paying a premium for, like, in Dynasty it's different, but it just year to year redraft, I don't know if he's that much better. Um, so my point being, I probably would have taken somebody else there, but still a good player. Richardson's a little, he's a super high ceiling if he stays healthy, high floor player, but there's obviously the health concern. But I think, in Guillotine, he's healthy now. You're hoping he stays healthy. Everyone could get hurt. Like, I'd be fine with the pick. I like him otherwise. I even like Tank Dell quite a bit. I think he'll, even though he might be, some might consider him wide receiver 3. I still think he gets a lot of targets. He's probably more of a wide receiver 2, 3. Might be like 2A, 2B kind of situation. I think as Clyde mentioned earlier, Stroud always loves Tank Dell, and he's talked him up quite a bit. After that is where I have a little bit more head scratching personally. I like Roma Dunze a lot. I just think he's a very risky pick for Guillotine. I think there's other players that would have had a higher floor, but I mean, he's probably going to be out there in 3 wide receiver sets, so like he's going to get some usage. So it's not the worst pick in the world. Brian Robinson is your RB1. Like, the RBs is kind of the problem. Like, I may have preferred to go with an RB there, because Brian Robinson and Dobbins, Jalen Wright, like, Brian Robinson's okay, maybe as an RB2 in this league in the context, but having J.K. Dobbins and I don't know, just doesn't feel great to me. And then Hawkinson, I just don't know. Like, obviously he's gonna miss like 5 to 6 weeks. I've read. It's upside pick, I guess. Best case scenario, he's decent flex play, but I think I might have rather taken somebody else there. But I know he likes his big hawk, so. But I think
He
overall,
saved $850.
yeah. I think overall, I'd say it's be slightly below average, but
Yeah, I do think you took Laporta too soon. It's like Mahomes and Lamar Jackson are right there, like top of the line quarterback, and it's not tight end premium. I don't know. It's like there's a world where he could have had Lamar and then like Mark Andrews. That's such a better stack than like Laporta, Anthony Richardson. It feels like, but we'll see how it goes. I guess. Yeah, obviously JJ and Tech Dale are really good picks. Dunze pretty risky, and that RB room is pretty stinky.
Yeah, I think I was talking to Brooke and Hubs during the draft. We're just chatting. I think it was like maybe around 10 or 11, and I didn't realize who had Dobbins, but it got brought up, and I was like, I probably wouldn't take Dobbins at all, or take him in like the 14th maybe. I kind of look at him the same as Nick Chubb after his Achilles tear. So I'm really down on him. I wouldn't draft a ton of players over Dobbins, and yeah, I think his wide receiver room is pretty questionable. And yeah, but yeah, think his team is below average. I think Laporta at 211, pretty early.
Yeah,
Like you
yeah,
guys said, I don't
I'd
have too much
agree.
more to add.
I'd agree below average. Then we got the Zach Daddy team. Gets off to a strong start. I mean, AJ Brown and Ayuk, like 2 stud receivers. Ayuk's destination is still uncertain, isn't it? Like, there was so much talk last week and week before, trades and stuff, but he's still on the Niners as of now. Any day he could get traded. We had no idea. But I think seems like no matter where he goes, he'll. I mean, if he gets traded somewhere, he might be the one on the team he gets traded to. But still a good player with maybe some small risk. And then Zay Flowers. So he's got 3, I think, really good receivers to start the lineup. But then his running backs are Kenneth Walker, who I really like, but then Trey Benson, who's RB2 on the Cardinals, so might not even play get very many snaps the first week. We don't know. Might split with Connor a bit, but he's not going to get that many fantasy points unless he gets a touchdown somehow. So he's not rely on Kenneth Walker to carry the RB work. And I like Goff, 6-point passing touchdown, that high-powered offense. I mean, Goff throws touchdowns. And then Njoku at tight end. He was really good with Flacco. Gonna have to hope that Deshaun Watson targets Njoku a lot, but we didn't really see that much. So Njoku, mid pick, but he needed a tight end. I mean, overall, I think it's at least average, with potential for above average, I think.
Yeah, I like the AJ Brown pick. Solid, healthy, wide receiver 1. Ayuk, I'm not as big of a fan of because the contract. If he's traded, yeah, who knows? Does he instantly become the 1? Does he, I don't know, become the 2 on a team he doesn't know the playbook on? You know, what's the quarterback situation? What if he was traded to, I don't know, like the Patriots or something, right? Like, what happens then? I would just pick someone else that doesn't have a contract situation. Kenneth Walker, like the pick. I like the Flowers pick too. Him and Mark Andrews are the 1 and the 2. As far as I know, Flowers is healthy and Andrews is questionable, so makes me like Flowers a little more. I like Goff and 6-point and on the good offense there. I don't like his bye week though. Same with AJ Brown's. Both have that week 5 bye week. Njoku. Don't like the Deshaun situation, that sore shoulder that's fully guaranteed. But
Yeah.
I know Njoku was popping off when what's his face? Flacco was throwing him the ball. Not as much when Deshaun was, so who knows. Yeah, I like the upside though with well, actually Trey Benson is the RB2. If he was the RB3, I'd be more cool with it, but as the RB2, it doesn't feel the greatest. He might not see much play. Just be James Conner there. And Hollywood is out for like a month, probably. So yeah, I think his team is a little below average because the RB situation and the Ayuk contract.
Oh, did you put it average or below average? Sorry, I missed it.
I would put it below average, just slightly though.
Mm-hmm. I still had it at above average, or maybe at least average, maybe above average. But there are some flags, yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, because look, the RB situation, Kenneth Walker's RB1 on the Hawks, but Benson is, as far as I know, he's RB2. He may only get 10, 20, 30% snaps week 1.
He'll have to replace him pretty early on for sure.
Yeah, but
maybe by week 5 get another running back. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I guess I'm just evaluating a lot on just like how good is this going into week 1, because teams could change very quickly depending on how people tend to.
I feel like for week 1 his floor is pretty good, and 1 week spot won't affect as much, but I guess we'll see.
Yeah. Yeah, I would put it close to average, but a little below.
Did you want to add anything, Zane?
Yeah, I like the team overall. There's a little bit of risk with Ayuk, but it sounds like most likely he'll be staying with the Niners. So
I think he wants to. He's
I like
waiting for the bag. That's why he's not accepting the trade offers. I think he wants to stay at the Niners. He just wants to get paid with the Niners. But we'll see if it
Yeah.
happens. Yeah.
Obviously the hole is RB2. Like there's a crater hole there. But I think you can get by with the first couple weeks with one hole. Like I don't mind that he waited a little bit on quarterback. I think Goff's goof will be pretty decent. Njoku's not too bad either. I don't mind that at all. So like other starters, I might have taken somebody besides Hollywood just because week 1 it'd be nice to have somebody to put in. I think that's still flex spot. So yeah, it is. So it'd be nice to have somebody that draft a starter in the 8th round. Like I wouldn't be drafting players that are going to play in
Yes, true.
a month. Just
Right.
other than that, I like it. I'd say I'd put it in. I'd probably say it's average because I really like everyone else besides RB2.
Yeah, that's fair. All right, now we're to the Kevin roster. Kyle, you want to go ahead?
Oh, sure. Yeah, I love Taylor. It's healthy on what should be a good offense with Anthony Richardson, at least for week 1. Even if AR hasn't been playing the most hot, I still think it's a pretty good offense, and I like Taylor a lot. Hurts, I like him a lot too. He's got a really high floor with that rushing and the touchdowns. All those he had just a ton of goal line TDs last year. Although this year he's missing Jason Kelsey, so we'll see if that changes at all. But I really like the first 2 picks, Rashad White. He got a ton of volume last year. He's probably he's gonna start off with a lot of volume, I would imagine, and maybe slow up a little bit as the season goes on. But I don't think he's gonna be in much of a timeshare early season. So I like White a lot. I like Cooper too. I think Amari Cooper is just really solid. I have been getting notifications of I have him in a different league, and it's like questionable, healthy, next day healthy, questionable. I think he's kind of like Mike Evans, just always dealing with a little something, but he almost always plays, and he is a little boomer bust, but I think he has a decent floor. Look here. Yeah. Like it gets around 10 points floor. Ridley, I'm intrigued by Ridley in the new situation, but he could start off I don't know, without that many targets, perhaps if they were targeting somebody else, but I think he's the team, so should be fine. Keon Coleman, I like the Buffalo offense. They don't have that many weapons, and Coleman is one of them, so I like Coleman. I like Tajay Spears, probably going to be in a timeshare close to 50-50 with Pollard. Yeah, I like the team a lot, I would say. I'd say above average. He's got likely too, and yeah, he's got, 2 QBs, or at least 2 QBs, at least 2 tight ends. He can fill every spot. Doesn't have any questionable players aside from Cooper, who keeps bouncing back. Yeah, above average for me.
Yeah, I'd agree. Did you want to add anything, Zane? I don't have anything to add.
I think go through it quick. I like Taylor, Hurts, Rashad White is not a sexy name in my eyes, but it's solid. The same, and I think same goes for Cooper, Ridley. I think outside of what, tight end, feel pretty good about everyone. I guess you're starting, I don't know, Likely or Fant, but
Oh yeah, I guess you are starting. Who's the Hawks one?
it's Fant technically.
Okay.
But I don't know how much he'll play. Or
Yeah.
he was the one last year and he didn't get used very much. So
Right. Yeah,
um,
I'd probably lean Likely over Fant.
but yeah, outside of that, I like the team a lot.
Yeah, I think it was a pretty smart draft. Got some good depth and good pieces. The Narwhals draft. Zane, you want to start?
Yeah. I like Garrett Wilson a lot. Feel like he's a player that could finish in the top, top 2 or 3 in wide receiver, and you're getting him later. He's healthy. He's got a late bye week. Feel like it's a good round 1 pick. Um, I'm not as super high on Josh Jacobs. I probably wouldn't have taken him there. Um, I guess he's projected to be an RB1, but maybe I'm just a hater. I've never really liked Jacobs. Um, Mixon, I think it's a decent play in the 3rd round. He's the pretty much bona fide starter in Houston, so you're going to get volume. Even if he's a little older, he might not be quite as efficient. It's still a decent player there. Probably would have taken Walker over him though, but um, and then Rashi Rice. I like just touching Prescott. I think he's undervalued usually. Solid quarterback, especially in 6 point. The receivers after that, like our wide receiver 2, I don't know if I can really get behind most of these guys. Like Rice, if he plays, is pretty good. It's kind of risky. I guess he most likely would have been suspended by now if he was going to be. So he'll probably be your wide receiver 2, week 1. I'm not a big Watson fan. Sutton's high floor, low ceiling, but for a flex play, that's not too bad. Um, AD Mitchell, you're probably not gonna. I guess is he playing him? Yeah, he is playing him in his flex most likely. So a little bit risky just because he's a rookie and he's wide receiver 3 or 4, so he might not even get a lot of snaps week 1. But Taysom Hill is a tight end. It's a gimmick, but it's a gimmick that works. Overall, I'd probably say it's. Mm, I'd probably say. I mean, I've said it a lot, but I'd probably say it's close to average. Maybe if anything, I'd say a touch under, but that's just because I don't like Jacobs or Watson or 80 that much for the flex play. But
Yeah. I like Wilson a lot this year for sure. I'm kind of in the same camp with Jacobs. I'd probably have gone someone else, but I think there's a lot of mouths to feed on Green Bay, and there's a lot of receivers, and um, yeah, who knows how much work how much goal line work he gets, or just like TDs he gets. I mean, there's all those receivers that can um, take the TDs. But I think he's solid enough. I like Mixon a lot on Houston. He's got a lot of opportunity. I think he might be questionable right now though. Totally sure, but if he's healthy, I like him a lot. Like Prescott, especially in the 6 point, like you said, Zane. And yeah, I think Rice's court date is in like December or something, and it could be pushed out further. But yeah, I don't think the NFL suspends him before that court date, so I like him in Guillotine. And yeah, I'm not very high on Watson or Mitchell, like you said. Um, I think his team is average right now, with the tight end being a little below average. I think you can get by week 1 with a tight end, a hole in tight end more than a hole in running back or receiver.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd agree. I'd say it's average as well. Go on to the Clyde team. first one of us to get reviewed. Got Josh Allen at the 112. Quarterback 1 off the board, so that's gonna be a really good feeling. Just 6-point passing touchdown and the rushing. So looking like the clear 1 going into the season. And then getting just 2 really good receivers right after that. Nico should have a really good year with CJ Stroud. So I like that pick. Then Pittman has a pretty good floor. Number 1, wide receiver 1 on the Colts. So I think having the wide receiver 1 and 2 there is really, really good. I guess running back is a little bit more sus, but I mean, I think Najee is good. I think Najee, he gets some hate, but I think he should have he gets volume, right? He should have a good floor, I think, on the Steelers. I like getting Najee there. I would guess him or Swift, you kind of have a coin toss, but it's hard to say between Swift or Najee. And then Zamir White, RB1 on the Raiders, but he's never been a workhorse guy yet. But at least he should be getting volume. He's a lead guy. Hopefully he shows he has some talent and he can take over. And then you got Warren is kind of like a backup to Najee. I guess one of them gets hurt, you have the backup. But if they're both healthy, you kind of get confused who to play. I guess you just put in Najee. I'm not sure. I guess I'll ask you, Clyde, what's your thinking on having Najee and Warren?
Yeah, I specifically just picked Warren there just in case Najee gets like hurt or vice versa. I think Warren's currently questionable, which caused me to lean a little bit more towards Najee initially because I thought if Warren misses week 1 or if there's like a 70-30 split or something, it should help Najee. And then if like Najee missed and Warren was healthy and becomes the workhorse there, that was just my mindset.
Yeah,
and if they're both good, I could play both, but I'll probably play White and then one of them.
Yeah, I'd say with the Warren pick, there wasn't like a clear better pick on the board. Like Zeke is back on the Cowboys. He's old. It's like, do you want to take a Zeke over Warren? Not really. Even though Warren does have like the hamstring injury right now, but there is the Gus bus. But again, it's kind of like the goal line guy. You're not get that much work, so it's probably just safest go with Warren. Hopefully his injury isn't too bad. Then to round out your receiver room, got Shakir on the stack with Josh Allen and Dontavian Wicks, who's getting some buzz in preseason and camp. He could be a sleeper pick. And then tight end, kind of hope that rookie the Senator gets some targets early on. Can get some sort of floor, then replace him later on if you need to. But hopefully Jaden targets him quite a bit.
Yeah, I kind of faded tight end a little much, and at the last round, I was like, I should probably just grab another tight end. Believe Colby Parkinson is currently the tight end 1 on the Rams because their tight end 1 is injured, I believe, currently. Higbee, he's on the pup, so.
I don't know. I always say the Rams might end up using him differently than the Hawks. I don't know, but obviously with the Hawks, he had like no fantasy value. I mean, does that magically change going to the Rams? Probably not, but.
Yeah. I feel a bit better with Sanat going into week 1, though, with thoughts and getting traded, so. Kind of got lucky there. But
yeah, I think overall it's at least average. I mean, the running back room isn't like amazing, but it's not. There's no hole. There's no clear like hole in the team except maybe the tight end. But even that should be okay. Just it's like a weaker Bowers, in a sense, but rookie tight end coming into the league. So it's maybe just a small hole tight end. Yeah, go ahead.
I would argue it's a big hole at tight end, but I think everyone has the hole. So it's fine. It's not. I don't think it's hamstringing the team by any means. You have Josh Allen who's gonna, hopefully carry your team. I like Nico and Pittman, and then Najee. I think Najee's super boring, but boring is good in Guillotine. So I like the pick. Same with having Zamir White as your RB2, I think is pretty solid, especially compared to a lot of teams. And then Warren is fine as a flex play if you want, or Shakir. I'm not super high on Shakir, but having him in the flex is again fine. Same with Wicks. So I think the only thing I maybe would have done slightly different is draft a tight end a little earlier. But again, other than that, I like it. I think overall I'd say it's above average.
Cool. Yeah, the biggest surprise for me with the team was people really faded QBs this year. Because last year I believe
Yeah.
Mahomes went around the 108 or 110, and then I believe Josh Allen and Jalen Hurts went about the 113 and 115, something like that. And my goal was just to try to get a QB round one, and I was hoping for Allen, but I didn't think he was going to make it to me because I thought people would be higher on the QBs. But in hindsight, I may have faded, and Allen took like Gibbs, Well, Gibbs was currently dealing with something, so probably Barkley or Olave, or
Yeah.
Puka.
Yeah, I don't think Allen was a
But
mistake, but
yeah, I like the Allen, but
yeah.
if I could have gotten, if I somehow could have gotten Allen at 2.7, it'd be a lot better, obviously. But
Yeah, there's no way
probably
that
not.
it's probably no way that would happen. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like Zane would snag Allen at the turn, but maybe not.
I was considering it,
Yeah.
but it was I don't know. In this one, I felt like, and we can get to it later, but quarterback,
Mm,
I didn't mind taking a little later.
yeah. Yeah. Cool.
The C Nels draft. I think it's is it back to you, Clay?
Yeah. So, um, Gibbs, believe he's dealing with something questionable. If that's the case, I'm not as high on him for week one. He's also in Detroit with that week 5 bye, so I would have probably gone Barkley or Henry if I was going for RB there. But if Gibbs plays and he's healthy, it's a great pick. London, I like London a lot this year. There's much competition on the Falcons, just London and hopefully Pitts with Kirk Cousins. So assuming Kirk is healthy and meshing with that, like the whole team is meshing together, should be really good. I like Cup a lot. I think that Cup wasn't healthy most of the year last year, playing injured or just not playing, and I think he's healthy this year, and Puka may take a step down, and Cup may take a step up compared to last year. So I like Cup a lot. I like Puka and Cup. Um, Swift, I took Najee over Swift. I like Najee a little more, especially with Warren being questionable. But I was considering taking Swift too. They're both solid in the fourth. Um, Tua in the 6 point with Tyreek and Waddle. I like Tua. I think solid QB. Does have the concussion concern, but I think it's a fine pick. Goddard at 613. I like it. Maybe I should have taken Goddard instead of Warren. Eh, I like the pick though. I think Else's first six are solid. Jameson Williams, I'm not that high on him. I know, you know, some people are hoping for the breakout this year, and it could happen, but I think there's a lot of mouths to feed, and I think he's behind Amon-Ra, Gibbs, um, Laporta, maybe even Monty for targets. Maybe, I don't know. I think I would rather have him in a best ball because I think he could have some big weeks, but I think some weeks he could just disappear, and that's not what I want in a guillotine. But it is 7th round. And Gabe Davis just got traded to the Jags. Who knows where he's at compared to Christian Kirk, Evan Ingram, and Brian Thomas Jr. I probably wouldn't take him, but it's getting later picks. But overall, I think CNELS has he's got an above average team.
Yeah, I was gonna agree. I think it's above average. There's just I don't see any holes. And there's some good studs on there. So yeah, I think overall it's above average.
Yeah, I like it a lot. I like the first 6 picks quite a bit. Gibbs, London, Cup. I think they're all great. Swift is a little, but there's not a lot of options at that point. So Tua and Goddard, I like that. And then you're in your flex at JMO and Gabe Davis, which I guess they kind of both profile as boom bust. So you hope they just don't both drop a donut the same week. But other than that, I like the team quite a bit.
Solid. We got up next. We got Jai with a lot of rookie picks. Zane, you want to take it?
Yeah, he stays true to himself, so he loves the rookies. I actually, I mean, I probably wouldn't have done Harrison at 14. I was considering him at 18 or 19 if he was there and I was on the clock. Like I probably would have rather had Barkley. Um, but as far as rookies go, he's probably one of the safest, if not the safest. So I don't hate it. Achan, I think looking at the running backs that were left after him, I would definitely go Achan if I wanted a running back. And you already went wide receiver, so I probably wouldn't skip on it. So I like that one. I probably wouldn't have taken Neighbors there. I just think there's a little safer options. Um, Good player, but I just think that basically all the receivers after him are safer. Um, I do like McLaurin a lot. I was hoping I could have gotten McLaurin at the turn a couple picks later. And then the news of Dotson going, it maybe moves the needle slightly, but regardless, I think McLaurin is going to get a lot of targets, so I like him a lot. Pollard and Zeke is your RB2. That might, someone might consider that a hole, but Pollard in the time split RB2, it's probably fine. I like Trevor Lawrence. Um, Tight end is probably a hole. Musgrave and Kraft. They're both Green Bay tight ends. Who knows who will be the one that gets more looks? Musgrave was the one earlier last season, then he got hurt, and Kraft was pretty good. So that's kind of be a little tricky. It's probably going to be week to week who's better. So, but similar to a lot of teams, I think the hole is tight end. Other than that, I like the team quite a bit. A little bit risky because of some of the rookies, but other than that, I like it.
Yeah, I would say there's too many rookies for like if I was drafting, if I was gonna take like Harrison, I probably wouldn't take Neighbors or vice versa. I would take Barkley and then maybe I'd consider Neighbors. Um, just take more vets and less rookies. Um, I yeah, RB2, Pollard. I think it should be fine splitting with Spears and yeah, the tight end hole. I think T-Law is fine in a 6 point, but yeah, I would say with the rookies, I would put his team below average. If he had if he would have had like Barkley instead of Harrison or Cup or Pittman instead of Neighbors, I'd probably put it closer to average.
Yeah, I think I still put it at average. I think his two rookies are just like two of the best prospects in quite a long time. So I'm just gonna assume they're superstars. I don't know, assume they're stars, but I understand the risk. I think overall, I think it's just an average team. I think he had some fun draft and obviously maybe a little troll getting all the rookies, but actually it turned out all right. I think it's average.
I like the team. I just think in Guillotine, the more boring, the better. It's a little too sexy.
That's true.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, now I'm gonna evaluate my own team. No, I'm just kidding. Clay, if you want to talk about my team, if you want, then I'll go after.
Oh, sure. Yeah, Barkley, I like the pick. He's healthy as far as I know, so I would, yeah, I like him in the first. Kyron, I like him too. I think that Kyron's probably going to get the bulk of the carries week one based on last year. You know, if there's a 50-50 split, I'd be really surprised. But yeah, he should be really good early, but you know, maybe towards the end of the year if Corum, you know, gets more opportunities and does a lot with them, maybe it's closer. But starting out, I really like it. And then Cook there on Buffalo, I like it. I like it a lot too. Like the offense, 3 RBs, you're just rock solid on the RBs. You got 2 of them in the flex, and then Jaden Reed. I I do like Reed a lot, but Green Bay, the room is pretty crowded, and I think any of the guys, Dubs, Reed, Wicks, I, even Bo Melton could have a good week here and there. So I think the floor is probably lower on Reed than perhaps I don't know, like maybe Christian Kirk. If Kirk is still, I guess he's kind of a question mark too. But if he's still the one versus Reed, who I think the Packers coach or offensive coordinator was saying like he doesn't believe in wide receiver ones or something. I'm not sure, but I just feel like Jordan Love is good enough to make any of those guys go off. And I mean, there's a lot of talent there too, a lot of young talent. So, but I think it's still fine. But I'd probably go with somebody else. Godwin, I like him a lot this year. Tampa Bay, him and Evans are probably gonna score a lot or put up a lot of points. Hopefully, score a lot of TDs. Yeah. Schultz, I like it. Good tight end. You faded the QBs quite a bit. Got Cousins and Watson. I'm finally out on Watson this year. I believe last year I drafted him in every single league, just in that, you know, that chance that he returned to Texans form. But I'm kind of just out on him. But it's better to have um, two quarterbacks than one for sure going into week one. And Cousins, I believe he's healthy, so he should be fine. Got a pretty loaded offense there in Atlanta. He got him pretty late. As long as that Achilles is not slowing him down at all, should be fine there. You got Thomas, Brian Thomas and Leggett picked before that. Both rookies, and maybe could have gotten non-rookies there and picking rookies later, but uh, overall, I think the strategy of getting the rock solid RBs and then just getting a bunch of receivers and fading the quarterback a bit, I like it. I would say it's an above average team.
Yeah, I like it. I like Barkley and Kyron a lot. James Cook, I like that pick. Um, I probably would have taken a receiver, but getting the running back, I mean, it's not a bad idea, especially since Barkley and Kyron have early buys. You can always slot in Cook as your RB2 for those weeks, which feels nice. Um,
That's true.
I like Godwin a lot. I almost grabbed him in my turn, but I just felt like I had to get a RB2. But I do like Godwin a lot. I'd probably say he's your wide receiver one over Reed just because of Reed's volatility. Um, you got Schultz, decent tight end, pretty boring, but boring is good in Guillotine. Um, Flex plays, we're looking at what Thomas. You only and then Cook's your yeah. So just one more flex between Thomas Leggett. Um, there's a world where Thomas, I think he's projected to be a starter in at least 3 wide receiver sets, maybe in two wides. So as far as rookies go, it's not the worst. Definitely some risk though. But in the flex, you're never gonna have all 8 starters who have in this league without having some questions. So I think as far as that goes, it's not too bad. I think the only hole that I would be concerned about is quarterback. I don't like Deshaun at all, and Kirk is hurt. So,
But
you know,
is Kirk currently hurt, or it's just the Achilles?
he's coming back off the Achilles,
Yeah,
so like he could could play pretty poorly.
right.
Um, but I guess just some question marks there. But
Hmm.
at the same time, like if you're gonna punt a position, punting a quarterback's probably not the worst because if you make it, every week you make it by, there's a decent quarterback getting available on the wire, and a team like Cly or Kevin or people that invested highly in quarterbacks, they're never going to bid on a QB that comes out, and so you can most likely get a decent QB. So I think if you're going to punt a position, quarterback and tight end to some degree are decent ones to do that with. So I think I like it overall. I'd say it's above average.
Yeah, the Jaden Reed pick, I wanted Scary Terry, but then Ty or Dry sniped him.
If your team had
Scary.
Terry instead of Reed, I'd say it's hands in way above average. Like that would
Yeah.
be really, really, really good.
Yeah, I thought about Christian Kirk, but he's dealing with some sort of minor injury. I just eliminated the risk entirely
okay.
and just scratched him. But otherwise, I would have taken Kirk. But
Yeah.
he
No,
could
I
hurt.
like
I
that.
just wanted to eliminate the risk, but who
No,
knows?
that's good.
Yeah. Then my flex spots are, I guess, 2 rookies, which is question marks. But I don't know. It's fun to get some rookies, I guess.
Oh, sure, yeah.
I wasn't really sure about Jameson Williams. Like, this is how I kind of want to see how Brian Thomas is on the Jags. He looks like a really good rookie. So, and yeah, I was pretty scared about the quarterback picks. Just hoping Kirk is healthy and will play the full game. I don't know if he gets hurt
If
the
Kirk can
first
get you by
quarter.
the first couple of weeks, you'll be good because there's plenty of decent QBs that'll be available. I like the team a lot.
It's funny. I took Deshaun there, but looking at it, it's I think I'd rather have Daniel Jones or something. I don't know, but
Yeah, I probably would have rather had Gino.
Yeah.
Gino, yeah. Gino, I'm just worried about the O-line. I don't know. But could be. Gino, he's definitely a boring pick. Then you say boring picks are good, so you're right about that.
I like them boring.
Guess I'll go on to the Micah draft. He's got King Henry as his first pick in the draft. Getting old, but if he's still got juice and won't get hurt, should be pretty good on the Ravens this year. A lot of touchdown opportunities. Then he went 3 receivers in a row. First was Devontae Adams. I'm kind of at the point where I think I'd rather even have Nico there, but it's because Nico, he's on a better offense, and Devontae's 32, 33 with a bad quarterback, bad team. I know it's he's technically a better receiver, but I'd rather have Nico. I don't know, maybe that's just me. Then he got Waddle and Kirk, solid receivers. Then his RB2 is the Gus Bus, hoping he gets some touchdowns. So if that pans out, that'll be great. If it doesn't, that's pretty bad. And then he got Purdy, maybe early, pretty early on, but Purdy was quarterback 6 last year, pretty high. So he's maybe kind of a sleeper. He's a good quarterback. Then he's got Hunter Henry and Gesicki at tight ends, pretty yucky. I mean, overall, just an average team. I don't know. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I like the Henry pick a lot. I think if he's healthy on Ravens, he could be even better than he was on the Titans, perhaps. It's a better team. So I'm not very high on Adams though, like you were saying, Berg, and I would rather have London or Nico over Adams. Adams had a ton of volume last year, and I think he was wide receiver 17 or something with maybe the second or third most volume. And so, yeah, he's just
He was pretty volatile too. Yeah.
Yeah, and boom or bust. So I would much rather have him in a best ball. In a Guillotine, I would rather have a guy like Kyron or London or Collins.
Yeah, I'd rather have like an uprising star than a faded star. But.
I think same mindset with Waddle is Waddle to me feels a little more boom bust than some other guys. I'd rather take James Cook or Cooper Kupp or Pittman over Waddle.
Yeah.
But he depending on how much how consistent he can get those targets behind Tyreek. He could be. I mean, he's gonna have some big weeks, but yeah, the floor. Just playing for the floor, and then Kirk being injured, I forgot about that. So I would take someone else there as well. Purdy, I think in 6-point, it's fine to take him here, but with the Ayuk situation, where at the very least Ayuk hasn't been training, and maybe starts off a little slow for week 1, there are a lot of weapons on that offense, so I'm sure he'll be fine, but. I may have gone with somebody else there too. I'd probably say the team is and he only has the one QB, so I would have probably taken a second QB just in case Purdy couldn't play week 1, but I would say the team is a little below average for me, because for the core, I probably would have taken like the core 2nd through 5th picks. I would have taken somebody else.
Sure.
Yeah, I think I would echo that. I like Henry, and I do like Waddle. But Adams, Kirk, I just probably would have rather had somebody else. Purdy's fine in my eyes. But Gus doesn't feel great as your RB2. Hunter Henry is your tight end 1. I don't really like Mike Williams. Lockett is so, but I'd probably put it below average.
Yeah, I see Hubs just joined. We're just wrapping up wrapping up the Guillotine draft review. Would you like the honor of reviewing Zane's draft?
Oh, sure.
Still have one more before that.
Yeah, we're on Cascadia.
Okay, I can do Cascadia. Let's see here. So we got Chris Olave as his first round pick over Puka Nacua. I guess they were pretty close. Puka was on fire last year. I guess the only concern with Puka, not to talk about Zane's team, just the guy right after who Ryan picked, is Matt Stafford's health. And then Cooper Kupp is back fully healthy. But nonetheless, Chris Olave, got the car thrown to him. Not the greatest quarterback. That offense isn't that great. I think they asked Olave in an interview, what are some good plays your team's been doing lately? He's like, can't think of any. I don't know.
Oh.
I think I would have picked Puka, but Olave, he's a good receiver, just on a stinky team, I feel like. His other receiver is DJ Moore. That seems like a good pick. Just have to hope Caleb Williams, delivers as the 101 overall pick. And he also got Caleb Williams at the 502. So it feels pretty early for a rookie quarterback who doesn't necessarily rush. He scrambles some, but hopefully the scrambling comes. And we've seen scrambling in the preseason a little bit. So, but he picked him over like Purdy, who was like QB6 last year. Picked him over Tua and Goff. So he's buying on the Caleb Williams hype. Might pay off. But then he took Kyle Pitts in the 4th round. I'm hoping he has like maybe a breakout season with Kirk Cousins. Very well could happen. Should get the targets. I mean, solid. Still a solid tight end. Then the running backs. Jerome Ford with Nick Chubb out. I mean, that seems like a good pick. At least for the first duration of the season, first part. And he's got Chuba Hubbard, who may be RB1 with Jonathan Brooks out. And then he went McLaughlin, who's behind Javonte Williams. Although that backfield's pretty muddy. It's kind of Broncos' offense is pretty bad. But remember, he has Olave and DJ Moore. Then after that, DeMarcus Robinson and Treylon Burks. So he's really relying on those two receivers to deliver. Otherwise, he's having some weak receivers. I mean, I definitely think you could argue this team would either to be average or below average. I think it's just an average draft. Obviously, there's some some flags, maybe some rookies, but and some of the picks. But I think it just seems like an average draft. What do you guys? What do you guys think?
Yeah, I'd probably go average. I think go Lave's solid, Pacheco's solid. More, assuming he's the one on the team. Um, if it's more of just an even split between him and Allen and Rome from week one, which I think it'd be pretty unlikely, but um, and I think it'd be not great. But if he gets the main target share, should be fine. I'm pretty high on Pitts this year, so I like the pick. I don't think there's too much competition there for targets, and um, Atlanta, I think it's London, Pitts, and Bijan probably. So, and um, yeah, assuming Kirk Cousins is not slow to start the season, I think Pitts should be fine. But it isn't tight end premium. Oh, I may have taken somebody else there. I'm pretty high on Love. Just saying pick next, so may have taken Love over Pitts there, but Caleb, yeah, in a 6 point, assuming he's getting TDs, got a lot of weapons to work with. He probably is one of the best situations a rookie quarterback has gone to in a long time. I don't know of any that have had a better situation, but I'm sure there are some. I think he has all the tools. He just has to execute. I like Ford as the running back one on the Browns, and I guess I don't know, I've just been kind of out of Carolina this year, so I didn't realize Hubbard is probably the RB1 given where he's drafted here. So I like that too. Yeah, I think team is average.
Zane or Hubs have any thoughts?
I have a question for Zane. If Cascadia would have taken ETN, would you have gone like Olave Puka on the
I
turn?
probably, I'm pretty high on Pacheco. I probably would have taken him as one of those. So
Okay.
I may have gone Puka Pacheco. Um, you said he'd take ETN, correct?
Yeah, instead of Olave.
Yeah. Um, but definitely Pacheco and then one of Olave Puka. My only concern with Puka is, he's got like in the injury report, a slight knee thing.
Mm.
They say it's nothing, but anytime you have something, it's like a little
Yeah.
puckering and guillotine. Because if a player misses a week, you're kind of cooked. So
Yeah, it is scary.
well, you want to continue we can just move on. Hunter, you want to continue the eval?
Yeah, sure. I'll like what's the next topic?
Zane's team.
Oh,
Do you want to
it's
evaluate
just my
Zane's team?
team.
Oh, we're talking about Zane's team. Okay. Yeah, I'll continue. Puka, ETN, DK, Love. That's a really good start. Ramondre, Chase Brown. I mean, I do like this. Quite a bit of upside here. I think like the balance of two receivers, two running backs, a really good quarterback early is huge. Kind of your anchor. Cole Kmet, I know there's some hype on him. Just it's kind of a mystery bag with Caleb Williams there, but could turn out to be a good season for him. Cole Kmet feels like he's been in the league for 10 years, but he's only 25.
Something like that, yeah.
Brandon Cooks is always going to get you a couple good weeks. And I think a solid overall draft. I'd kind of envy the 12 hole on that third round reverse for sure.
I thrive in the hole.
Did you like that?
I
You
like
like even the 12? Yeah.
well, even 18 hole. I like the
Oh, the 18 hole. Yeah.
18 hole.
being deep in the holes, you know.
Yeah.
But
Yes.
yeah, I felt. I mean, evaluating my own team, I felt like it was decent. I've been saying this every team we've evaluated tonight, but I just like boring and like I think Brandon Cooks is the pinnacle of just
He
absolutely
is
boring.
a snoozer.
Mhm.
I would never take him in redraft, but like in this, it's like he's gonna play week 1. He's a wide receiver too. He's gonna be out there. Maybe if CeeDee Lamb holds out, there's like a slight upside case. But just like I just want like in the flex position, I just want some points. Like that's my only thought
Yeah.
process there.
Right.
And my biggest I would say my biggest hole would be tight end. I'm actually not that high on Komet. I just felt like he was the only guy left at this point.
Mhm.
I was really hoping I could have gotten one of the 3 that went before him, Schultz, Goddard, or Njoku, but it's just kind of the way the cookie crumbled.
Yeah. I like your team a lot. Puka being questionable though, I would still probably avoid it and take players that aren't, even if it's probably nothing, but on that slim chance, I would probably just take like ATN and Pacheco or something, just double it up. But I like ETN, like Metcalf, love, pretty high on love. And yeah, I like the opportunity for Stevenson, although that offense is probably not going to be great if he just gets a lot of touches. He's going to be fine RB2. I like the upside for Brown as well on Cincinnati. He had some pretty big plays last year, if I recall. And then yeah, Komet, you kind of took the last of that tier of tight end, or maybe one step below that tier, but above pretty much everything else that was remaining. I think you got a solid core, and same with Cooks is not a sexy pick, but he's boring, but solid for Guillotine. I like the team. I'd say above average.
Yeah, I like the team too. There's no like major holes. It's just like the tight end and the second flex are weak, but that's fine. I have some really good players on there. I mean, definitely at least above average. Yeah. And another plus for Ramondre is hopefully he gets like targets and stuff. Maybe some dump offs from the quarterback. So like he's on a bad offense, but at least he's getting receptions for a good floor.
Yeah, if he can get some dump offs, he could be really good.
And Chase Brown's a question mark, but there's upside, but also downside. So we don't really know yet.
Yeah, but he's a flex play though. Like I like the starters, assuming Nakua is healthy for week 1.
Yeah.
Starters are good.
Probably should wrap it up here pretty soon. I guess Hubs, you just recently joined. Any thoughts you had? We already went over like every single team, but you can feel free to shotgun any thoughts about the draft as a whole or any teams you wanted to talk about.
Well,
Defend your own.
defend my own. Yeah, I can't really defend my own too much. I'll just say the 8 hole was not my favorite spot to draft.
I had it
an
last
18-man.
year. It wasn't enjoyable. The 8-hole.
Yeah.
I
mean,
mean,
I'm
we
glad
didn't
I
say
got.
it was a bad team or anything. I was just mostly just messing
Oh,
with you.
well, yeah. I think I was getting slandered like right after the draft by a few people. Plus, I'm
Oh.
projected the less, so that's fair. Did someone make a joke about me saving 850 beans on TJ Hawkinson?
I did.
Okay, good. I do like my receiving core and Laporta. Like it's just kind of nice, and Richardson was definitely just a home run swing. Probably a reach. I probably could have. See, that's the thing. I don't think I could have waited and gotten Richardson or sorry, Kyler Murray.
Bobby's been horny for Kyler in every draft we've
He
had
has
so
been,
far.
yeah.
I like
Chris
Kyler
is-
though, but
Yeah. Yeah, I think he's gonna have a great year. I don't know. I feel like everybody kind of came to play. Nobody really trolled that hard. Jai's like the beginning of Jai's draft was so interesting. Harrison, A-Chain,
he's true to himself.
Nabbers, yeah, Neighbors. I don't hate it. Like lots of upside in that early wide receiver core, and then you get some like okay running backs. So get T-Law, Moosegrave. Yeah, I think everybody had a pretty good draft. I think we went into it blind too. Like not many people did, at least group mock drafts.
Yeah, I just
Yeah, we
mocked
didn't.
against bots. I didn't mock against anyone else. I feel like the Intel game has it hurt last
Oh
year.
yeah,
So
just got a
Hubs
Snoop
is-
Dogg.
Hubs is always watching the mock drafts.
Oh no, I'm 2 minutes late. All right, guess I'm gonna watch it.
Snoop Dogg.
Other than that, I don't really have much to add. I was just stopping by to say hey.
yeah, I saw there was a
wrap it
keeper
up. It's a
mock,
long-
but
It's
yeah,
a
I saw,
long one.
I saw there was a keeper mock. I didn't want to join the keeper mock because like I feel like it's very telling. If you actually draft true to yourself in the mock, like, I don't want people to know who I'm gonna pick. You know, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like plus with the keeper mock, there's already the keeper selected. And it's like I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of intel you're giving away, but that was just me afraid to give away any intel.
No.
Especially the
Yeah,
later
there's
rounds when it comes
definitely-
to keepers, it's like, are you going to reveal who you're going to try to target late round in a mock? You know, probably don't want to give that
Yeah.
away. But
I just feel like, yeah, mocks, like, for me, I'm just not a fan anymore. I'm in so many drafts anyways. It's just
Oh, yeah.
like,
yeah,
And then, yeah, but on the flip side, there's a lot of people in our leagues. I won't point fingers, but they're obsessed with mock drafts.
mm.
Tim. Fuzz.
We'll just have to do some more auction drafts. I know those are your favorite.
Oh,
Oh yeah.
I'm so there.
Auction mock.
For best
Whoa.
ball 3, hopefully it's an auction draft best ball.
That'd be hype.
I will
Hubs
riot.
will have 3 good players.
It'll be a 10-man instead of a 12 because Hubs and Cat will sit out of it, and then it'll go faster.
Oh, I'll stick with it.
No,
I
I
gotta
mean-
learn.
I don't even think best ball 3 is probably gonna happen this year. So
Okay.
I guess time is
So many
escaping.
leagues this year.
Yeah.
maybe to kind of wrap it up for the guillotine part, if you guys could swap teams with somebody, who would you swap with?
That's a good question.
Maybe if you had to swap, you can't keep your team.
I think I would swap maybe with Kevin. I'm not gonna lie. I like this draft.
Yeah, solid. I like his draft.
Maybe Bobby. That's also a good one.
I'd
But
probably
but
go
there's a lot of choices. Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Probably go C. Nelson.
Yeah, that
Although
one's good.
Gibbs.
That's good. That's
Gibbs
good
is
too.
questionable.
Yeah.
Probably C. Nelson or Zane or Bakes. Those are probably my top 3, but just say C. Nelson.
Yeah, the C-Nose is nice too.
I'll give Fuzz a shout out.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I like
CMC can get
Fuzz's
you.
team.
Yeah.
I like Fuzz. I like Kev. I like Connor. I like Clyde's team.
Mm-hmm.
I do like Berg's team too.
Yeah, I feel like
Those are some of
I feel like there's
the
like 6 I'd be okay switching with. Just the names we've mentioned. But outside of those 6, I don't know if I want to swap with some of those. Like a
There's
Taylor
a lot of teams that are
or a
like
Zach
decent,
Daddy.
though.
Mhm.
I guess
Like
Zach's okay.
overall, it's pretty decent parity, which is always
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the question is just how the bean
Bean wars are really
economy's
fun.
gonna look. Yep. I think we learned not to overpay too early last year.
I want to see you buy somebody for 850.
How much is
Don't
someone
tempt
gonna
me.
spend week 1?
We'll see. We'll see who's on the
Hmm.
chopping block. How desperate they are. I guess.
Yeah,
Depends who's there, obviously. You know, those round 1 pit players
yeah,
wouldn't surprise me if somebody went for over 500.
right. Like, yeah, if there was like some of the, let's say, top 6 players like CMC, Brees, Tyreek, Lamb, Bijan, or Amon Ra. Yeah, I could easily see someone going for over 500.
Yeah.
Especially to a team that got like, just above the axed, someone that gets the 17th place.
Yeah.
But who knows?
All right. Good review. Good chatting.